welcome to Maisha Special Report. My name is Mesh Msimbi, and today our focus is going to be on the Madaraka Day celebration to be celebrated in Bungoma County. And to help me delve into this issue, I'm joined by a political and communication expert, Mr. Bushebi. Karibu kwenye show, Mr. Bushebi.
Asante sana Mesh Msimbi.
And on my far end is Madam Rida, who is a senior news anchor and also my colleague. Karibu kwenye show.
Thank you so much, Msimbi Mesh.
All right, much appreciation for always making time to join me on Special Report. Let's get into it. I'll start with you, Mr. Bushebi. 61 years down the line, since Kenya gotten independence, where is it supposed to be after the attainment of Kenya internal self-rule from the British colonial powers in the year 1963? Have you seen any infrastructural development since Kenya gotten self-rule?
Of course, there is quite a huge significant development that can be felt across almost all sectors of the society being the nation of Kenya. First of all, we are grateful to those who fought, our forefathers, our fathers, and later on, the ones who've been fighting for space and fighting for equity, and those who've been involved in building and adding value to the resources that we have. And so by getting independence from our colony, the British colonialists simply shows, first of all, that Kenyans fought, and it was a significant win, meaning that we can now determine our future. We can now determine how you want your child to grow, where you want your child to, the kind of education you want your child to get, how you want to build your roads, how you want to build your schools, how you want to grow as a nation. So that alone, even attaining that Madaraka, is just a significant development in the nation. Number two, there's quite a lot, despite the messes that we have experienced with governance and leadership in the country since 1963. Remember, by the way, Mesh, Kenya did not vote to have the first president of the Republic of Kenya, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. It was a parliamentary arrangement where, you know, the opposition just crossed over from the opposition side and joined KANU. Yes, it was then KANU and KADU. And so the opposition just moved from the KADU side, which is the opposition side of parliament, and they joined, and then they said, from today our president is going to be Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. And so look at that. From that to the point where we can now go to elections and elect our own president, the one that we want, and the majority have it. We have the highest form of democracy, the most disciplined defense forces in the country. We are the most democratic country in Africa. That tells you a lot that since 1963 up to this day, we've gained a lot. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Bushebi. Madam Rida, what can you say about that?
Well, thank you so much, Madam Simbi, first for the invite. As we are preparing for the 61st Madaraka Day celebrations, I think I agree with Bushebi Jr. We've made progress. We are not where we were 61 years ago. In terms of infrastructure, we can see it is just a matter of seeing. We are not where we were. We have you can see the transformation of Nairobi city, which is one of the biggest city in Africa. That is one of the progress that we've made as a country. Even our livelihood in terms of education, I know that we have challenges as Kenya. We are not there where we want to be, maybe like other developed countries, but I can say that we've made progress in terms of education, in terms of infrastructure, democracy. As Bushebi Jr. said, Kenya is one of the countries that is leading in terms of democracy. We saw the 2022 general elections. the sitting president was supporting opposition, but despite the fact that he's a deputy, won the elections, he did not refuse. If it was in other countries, because he's a sitting president with all powers, maybe he could have decided otherwise. But we saw what happened. He decided to transition power and gave his deputy who won fairly. So that tells you that Kenya has grown in terms of democracy. We are not in 1992, we are not in 1990, we are not in 1960. We've made progress. We're one of the best countries which respects democracy. And even in terms of freedom of speech, you can see how Kenyans can talk about their president. You cannot go and do that in other countries. We have the freedom of speech. Opposition have their say in Kenya. They can talk they can tell the president anything without fear of being detained, without fear of being arrested. Yes. That cannot apply in other countries. So Kenya has made progress, 61 years since we attained the self-rule from the British government. Despite the challenges, I can say that we make a very huge progress.
Yes, and that reminds me, during the Moi era, was the opposition has those powers to criticize the government?
I think that's when I said that there are people who fought, not just for the Madaraka itself, but even post Madaraka. We fought for democracy. The likes of the Raila Odinga, the likes of and other freedom fighters who've been fighting for liberation. They call it second liberation. Then they say the third liberation is the economic liberation. So we've had a huge number of people who fought for every dispensation of development. And especially when you talk about democratic space, during the Moi era, it was more of a dictatorial, it wasn't even more, it was a dictatorship kind of rule for 24 years. And that came about in 1982, when there was an attempted coup. And, Moi came back as a totally different person. He was a man of God, he was an evangelist, but like President William Ruto, he never missed church, But after 1982 attempted coup, that implicated Raila Odinga, his father, and others who were detained. Some were killed, some were sent to exile and stuff like that. After that, Moi became a dictator. He became a terror in this country and mismanaged the country. But even throughout the mismanagement in his 24 years rule, people never stopped to fight for democratic space. The fight continued until we got a new constitution. I remember the Yote Yawezekana Bila Moi. And I remember how people were singing Yote Yawezekana Bila Moi the day Moi was handing over power after 24 years. And everyone was so happy, and then Kibaki took over. When Kibaki took over, there was some form of mismanagement again, almost the country falling back into anarchy. In 2007, we went through hell. And then there was the new constitution, the birth of the new constitution, 2010. And so even after that, then the era of the William Rutos and other people came in. And so we are in that era right now. So if you look at it, it's been a journey that has had ups and downs, both in the democratic space, in leadership and governance, and even in infrastructure and development, and equitable share of resources. Right now, the deputy president is spearheading the one man, one shilling. Yeah, that is, the fight is still on. It's telling you the fight is still on. I mean, people want more. They want a better, equitable resource sharing plan. How can we share? But you see, it's a dialogue. Sometimes the dialogue gets to the extreme, sometimes it's moderate, sometimes... You remember the maandamano for the high cost of living? That is what we are talking about. Those are the fights, and the people who are spearheading this and, coming to the table with the... if the government can't listen to you, there's only one way the government can listen to you.
Protests.
There's protests.
Yes.
And so we've seen that. We've seen the doctors going strike. We've seen teachers, the nurses. We've seen quite a lot. And so the fight is still on, but we are celebrating the gains. But at the same time, we are not forgetting that the fight is still on.
Yes, just to add on that, I think that we should give it up to some of the leaders who have made Kenya what it is today, like Raila Amolo Odinga. Despite the fact that many like to say that for years he's been rejecting, or since the first time he vied for presidency, he's been rejecting the presidential elections. But Raila Odinga has also made Kenya what it is today.
Yes.
Through his court appeals of presidential elections. It is why we are where we are at the moment. He has led to reforms in the electoral system, which has also strengthened democracy in the country. So as we are celebrating the 61 years of independence, or Madaraka, I think that we should celebrate people like Raila Amolo Odinga, who have made our electoral system the way it is, who has made democracy in Kenya the way it is today.
Most people say Raila Odinga is the father of devolution.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he fought for
The 2010
constitution. It was that time when they had a handshake with Mwai Kibaki, the former president, the late Mwai Kibaki. And it's not just Raila Odinga, but just because his name features almost at the top, I know there are so many people who have had, you know, a role to play in the fight of this democratic space that we are enjoying today. For example, the freedom of speech and the freedom of media. Media in Kenya has freedom. Ukienda China wako na station moja ni ya serikali na inasema chenye serikali inataka.
Yeah.
Moi alikuwa na KBC, ilikuwa inaitwa Voice of Kenya, sijui VOK or something like that.
Yeah.
And ilikuwa inasema chenye Moi anataka iseme. I remember some days when every time you would listen to news, there was this one opening line: Mtukufu Rais Daniel Arap Moi. Mtukufu Rais Daniel Arap Moi. And it was daily. And Moi was a man who could fire you anytime. There was no protection. Right now we have the protection of the deputy president. The president cannot just fire the deputy president.
Yes.
By that time, Moi could fire you. Musalia Mudavadi was the shortest serving vice president in the Republic of Kenya.
Yeah.
And that is courtesy of Moi rule. He would wake up and say, I think you can be a good vice president. From this moment, you're fired. And so something like that. But we've come a long way. And so we have a lot to celebrate. I believe it's not time to fight. It is time just for, even if it's just 8 hours, just celebrate Kenya and just, you know, like, hey, you know, let's have a cup of tea, let's chinja kuku now that it's in Bungoma. They say Bungoma yefwe, meaning Bungoma yetu, Bungoma ya songa mbele, you know, just enjoy and celebrate. Yes.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Bushebi. Thank you, Madam Reader. Moving on with our discussion, reflecting on Kenyans' journey to independence. How did the attainment of self-governance on Madaraka Day shape the nation's history and pave way for the future milestones?
Of course, we are what we are because of that Madaraka that we got. The leaders that have come, the leaders that have gone, the leaders that are still here. Everything is about politics. Politics is the determining factor. In fact, economy comes almost last. Most of the times people say that, you know, we should be talking economy rather than politics. But I am here to submit that politics must be talked about first before the economy. This is evidenced in the history that we've had. One statement from Raila Odinga and the dollar goes haywire. So there's no economy without better politics. And so it has shaped our politics. And our politics has determined the growth of Kenya as a nation and the society that we have today. It has helped the self-determination. How do we want the tribes in Kenya to live as one? Otherwise, right now we would be having every tribe with its own king and prince and queens and everything. and they would not be subjecting themselves to a constitution of a republic called Kenya. And so that attaining of independence and Madaraka helped the leaders to craft the country and the republic called Kenya, and shape the politics of the country, which eventually shaped the economy, infrastructure development, resource mobilization and resource sharing. It shaped education. It shaped quite a lot of things. The list is long, and we have a lot to celebrate because that is how it shaped us. Our schools today are shaped by that Madaraka. We can determine what kind of education system we want to have. 844 was killed.
Yes.
If we were not
phased out.
It was phased out. Okay, fine. It was phased out. And that shows you that we have the power to even decide from this moment, this is a kind of education, this is what we want our children to go to school to learn. And that again shapes the future generation. So there's a lot that this Madaraka brought that we can sit down and decide and say, hey, we want our next 10 years to be better. We want to build the nuclear bombs in the next 20 years. and it is done.
Yes.
We want to have, like the way the president usually says, we should be a saving country rather than a borrowing country.
Yeah.
Now that is shaping the future. He may not achieve it now, but in future you'll find that the next generations will be more inclined into saving money so that other countries can borrow from us. So we become a bank on our own, where countries can borrow from us the way America has been borrowing from China. I don't know if you're aware that America owes China a lot of money.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of money. Yes, America is indebted to China. And so we can be the next China. We can be giving money to Uganda and Tanzania. I heard Tanzania walileta electric trains. Na vile waliwasha tu tanyunyunyunyu na stima inapotea nchi nzima. So we can be giving them money to get more electricity and stuff like that. Yeah, so it has shaped us. We are shaped by that Madaraka. Yes.
Yes, on my side I can say that for Kenya to attain that Madaraka, which simply means that you have now the power. First of all, it gave us the structure of leadership that we have at the moment, despite the fact that I think the 2010 constitution tried to change it a little bit. That is why we have, for instance, two types of government. We have the national government and the county government. But the attainment of the independence, first of all, gave us the structure of leadership, because as we all know, before the colonization, we had different tribes with different kings, just as Bushebe Jr. said. We had the Wanga with their kingdom, the Kalenjin with their kingdom. Different tribes had their own kingdom. So, but after the colonization, we were recognized as the British colony.
Yes.
And then after we attained the independence, we became the Republic of Kenya. So that gave us the first structure. We had one leader who controls the whole, despite the fact that we are more than 40 tribes, we became one nation, which is Kenya. Then we've seen the progress that we made. 2010, we had a new constitution, we had the national government, and now the county governments. It is almost similar to what we had before the colonization, because we have the Bungoma as its government, we have Uasin Gishu as its government, Kakamega, and so on. So I can say that we've gained a lot from the Madaraka that we got from the British colonizers, which is a good thing. It has shaped our structure, and we are strengthening it as years go by.
Yeah, and something else I just wanted to clarify. In 1963, we attained self-rule, which was a partial independence.
Yeah.
We became a republic in 1964 on 12th December. So, exactly. So we shouldn't be confusing the two.
Jamhuri Madaraka ni kama tu vile hiyo jina yenyewe. Niko na madaraka sasa.
Kutokea leo nyinyi muendelee mambo yenu. That's what mzungu
Yeah.
alisema. Tumechoka muendelee.
Then Jamhuri sasa wakawaachia nchi yenu.
Jamhuri, we became a republic.
Yeah.
In 1964,
Yes.
we became a republic. That's why now we have to celebrate the day we got self-rule, and then December 12th we have to celebrate Jamhuri when we became a republic. So Madaraka actually laid the foundation for us to become a republic. Yes.
All right, that has been the opinion of Mr. Bushebi and Madam Reader. Remember, you can engage with us by texting, calling 0746999841. Well, moving on away from that, Mr. Bushebi, we have a lot of expectation from this 61st Madaraka Day. Do you think Kenyans should expect a lot?
Of course, Kenyans should be expecting some statements from President William Ruto that will move mountains. You know, any word from the president can move mountains. If the president showed up right now and said, okay, from now, how much money do you need? I need 10 million, you need 20, you need 30. And then he says, okay, that is done. You know, we will not wait until we get the money to celebrate. No, we will begin the celebration immediately. Because the president's word is like a law. Once he says it, then he will, it is as if it is as good as done. So Kenyans are expecting to hear President talk about the economy, what Kenya should be expecting, especially the Finance Bill 2024. Kenyans would be expecting the president to say something. They are not sure about what he will say, but at least they expect hope.
Yeah.
Something that will give them hope that, hey, Mr. President, hope we are not going to overtax us. Hope life is... Have you seen what Finance Act 2023 has done to Kenyans? Some are even suffering up to now.
And even the Finance Bill 2024, if it will be passed, it will cause a lot of pain.
Exactly.
Because yesterday I read an article by the Star. It said a 400-gram bread will cost 74 shillings.
From 65.
From 65.
That is an additional 10 shillings.
And you have to buy it every day. And your children will be asking for it every day. And you have no idea how many children those are. And so that's what I'm talking about. So the Kenyans will be expecting. I remember the president said that, you know, he will not be taxing bread.
Yeah.
But that's just what he said.
During what he said, but Githunguri MP Gathoni wa Mchomba said he can come out and say, I have reduced the price of bread, you will not be taxed on bread, but that is only the word of mouth, not on the paper.
Exactly. It's more of a roadside declaration,
yeah.
Which is not written anywhere. It's not a policy. It's not a, you know. So those are things that Kenyans are expecting to hear the president talk about and offer commitment that you know, things are going to be better. But one thing I know about the way I've observed how things have been going on, and even the trip of the US state visit, the President William Ruto doesn't care about East or West.
Forward.
Yes. Yes, he cares about how to salvage Kenya, how to save the economy of Kenya, regardless whether it's from US or from whether it's from West or from East. He wants to see the nation's economy moving forward, and I think that's what he's trying to do. So Kenyans will just be expecting him to say more about that. Yeah.
Well, because Bushebi Junior has tackled what Kenyans as a nation will be expecting, I think I'll talk about Western region, because Madaraka Day celebrations will be held in Bungoma County. So I think that Bungoma and Western residents are expecting the president to address some of the issues that has been ailing the region for quite some time, and the ailing sugar millers. I saw the PS was talking about that the privatization is still on course, and I think that Western residents are expecting the president to address that. I think that is it from the people of Western Kenya. And also, one major thing that they are expecting the president to address is the issue of the cost of living, because life is unbearable at the moment, and we are expecting it to be tougher if the finance bill 2024 is passed. So that is what Kenyans are expecting the president to address. Yes.
All right, this is the first time Madaraka Day will be hosted in Western region, particularly in Bungoma County. Should Kenyans expect goodies from the president?
Chebet, who should go first? Maybe either Chebet.
Of course, I think that we've talked about that majorly in the previous question. Kenyans are expecting goodies. That is the day when you go there. Ni kama nikitumia example, mzazi amepata mshahara, sasa mnangoja kuja waambie unataka nini na nini na nini, ama tuseme ni Christmas. So that is the time when we expect the president to highlight some 1, 2, 3. Maybe we'll say that there's a bill where we're expecting to remove tax from bread and vehicles, not a roadside declaration like the one we had previously. They'll be expecting the president to say that we will not privatize the sugar millers, as some of the Western Kenya leaders have been pushing for, saying that Tawe, yet they don't have solutions.
I think they're going to be privatized. I don't see the need for not privatizing, because this is a hemorrhage.
Yeah. Remember the other time the president
too much corruption.
pumped up a lot of money to those sugar millers, and he had a genuine explanation for why they want to privatize those sugar millers, because every year the government, in fact, remember that is your tax money. Every year the government will be paying the pending bills for those sugar millers.
But they are selling sugar. Who is taking the money?
They are selling
Who is taking the money?
Who is taking the money? Because at the end of the day, the farmer has submitted his or her sugarcane. Then when the year ends, we have the pending bills for the farmers, we have the electricity pending bills, we have the suppliers pending bills. Yet the sugar that was submitted, it was processed and the sugar was sold. Where is the money? So I think that is just something that should not be for discussion.
I have no idea why Bungoma people would be so attached to soya sugar.
That is the narrative that has been sold to them by their leaders.
Because there are so many avenues of industries that people can engage in. And soya sugar is almost, I don't know, 50 years old or something. If you look at the machines, there's older. I mean, if you want to do soya sugar, then it requires a total overhaul of the whole thing. That simply means you need fresh capital to set up a new plant all at once. Do away with soya sugar as it is, and then put in money, bring in somebody who can invest better equipment, better machines, new modern machines that can increase capacity of producing sugar and stuff like that. If that is the discussion, then that is okay. And that can never happen if it's not privatized. It has to be, somebody has to sit back and say, you know what, I'm going to put my money here, and then give me 100 years, I'm going to get my money back, and then I'll leave you with your machine. Okay?
Well, Mr. Bushebi, the problem is that I think the leaders, some of the leaders are the one who are poisoning the locals. Is that the sugar miller is going away. No one is taking the sugar miller. It will be there. The farmers will continue distributing their sugar cane.
Somebody is just investing in it, and they want their money back. It's business at the end of the day. If the loud politicians who are opposing that are too loud, perhaps maybe give them a chance to buy shares in the Mumia Sugar. Buy shares. So you also invest, because if you're saying no, like the way Ruto said, you're telling me Tawe, then bring the money and put in the soya sugar, and let's see what you can do with it.
Bring your idea.
Bring your solution. Because what other solution do you want? And then another thing, why can't Bungoma County expand the investment avenues? There are so many. Look at tourism. Do you know that Bungoma County has a lot of tourist sites?
Yeah, true.
Hospitality industry in Bungoma County is the biggest, if I'm not wrong.
Leading in Western Kenya.
There's media. I'm telling you, there are over 20 media houses.
In Bungoma
Not even county.
Town.
And that's why I'm telling you, there are so many. Why can't they pump in money into these other avenues of investment? Why do they just want to die with Nzoia Sugar? How many people can Nzoia Sugar really employ? There are more other. That's why I talked about brain drain in Western region. So you find that you've educated your children, and then they don't know. The only thing they have is Nzoia Sugar. Sasa ulisomea marketing, ukasomea sijui journalism, ukasomea all these sijui rocket science, sijui nini. Are you going to be employed on Nzoia Sugar? No, that's the point. And I'm trying to say, now there's aviation coming in because they are building Matulo airstrip. People are going to be employed. Why can't they put in more money in such things? Build an airport. And by the way, are they conducting civic education to Bungoma people to know that it is cheaper to fly rather than to use the road? Because I never understood this thing. If you go to Trans Nzoia, I've lived in Trans Nzoia for some time, around St. Joseph Boys. I was a neighbor to the airstrip, Kitale airstrip. I would see planes almost every day. I would see people traveling almost every day. My question is, Bungoma has had an airstrip for many years. I don't know if I've ever seen any plane even landing there, unless it's a politician who is coming to campaign.
That was converted into a recreational.
Yeah, it was converted. I saw now events began taking place at that place. It's funny. So is it going to be the same thing that is going to happen with Matulo airstrip? Are we going to see planes landing there every day? Are Bungoma people going to fly now, or they still have this mentality of ndege hapana? Ndege si bei ghali.
I think they should just bring civic education, because I don't think if Bungoma people could use an air
it's a mentality. It's a mentality. It's planted. Ndege itaanguka. Sijui nini, kwanza habari itokee sijui ndege imepotea wapi. Ndege mimi na ndege. But how many road accidents do we have every day? A lot compared to aviation accidents. And so is it going to be like Kakamega, where people are traveling by air almost every day? So there must be some civic education. The mentality should change. Because Bungoma is cosmopolitan, people should start flying. At least, even if you can't fly, just pack up your bags, go there to Matulo airstrip, take a photo, and go back home. Just start from there, But there's a mentality, there's a poverty, mentality that also needs to be worked on. And I think Madaraka being held in Bungoma has come to open up the minds of the people of Bungoma to see that, hey, listen, power is good, development is nice, so you can fly. Okay, I've seen a number of airplanes, the wanajeshi, the Navy guys, and Kenya Army, and
Air Force. Yeah.
I've seen them flying and terrorizing the people of Bungoma until children run and hide when they hear that sound. And I think that is the best thing for the people of Bungoma. It opens up their minds to now see this is power. This is sweet. We want more of this. And so I hope Matulo airstrip, we're going to be using it next time when we want to travel around in and out of Bungoma. Yes, so that is something that I think Bungoma people can really enjoy, and the president should include that in his speech. Mr. President, I know he's jetting in on Friday. Yeah. I know your guys will tell you this. Please tell the people of Bungoma not to run away from Matulo airstrip. Hiyo airstrip ifungwe bure, ikuwe inakungoja tu wewe peke yako. Ambia watu wa Bungoma wapande ndege. Let Matulo airstrip begin to function.
Okay, thank you. Madam Reader, I'm going to start with you on this one. In what ways can Madaraka Day inspire and empower the younger generation to actively participate in shaping the country's future?
I think that the young generation, talking of young generation, I think in this
Gen
case,
Z.
yeah, we are talking Gen
Generation
Z.
Z.
That is people born from 1997 to 2012, because those are the working class at the moment. And they are really terrorizing their bosses.
Toxic working environment.
It is tough.
Working
It is tough to operate with them, but I think they can learn a lot because they are the future leaders that we've been talking about. So this can shape this generation by also enabling them to embrace, especially the leadership positions. I don't think we have many people, Gen Z, who are leaders at the moment, except Kina Toto and some few MCAs.
It's no longer Toto.
Mama Toto,
No,
yeah, she
she's
said
now
that we
Mama
should
Toto.
address her as Mama Toto. She is no longer Toto. We have Peter I don't think if Peter Salasia falls under the category of Gen Z.
The allegations Peter Salasia is on drugs.
Allegations.
Allegations.
Alleged. It is alleged.
Yeah.
Yes, but I think that these Madaraka Day celebrations should, the way it will, how it will shape the younger generation is that they should embrace, because they are the future leaders. We are expecting change from them.
Yes.
What the president is saying about making Kenya also one of the lenders, it is the Gen Z. Which
Gen Z who wants to run away from Kenya.
I think the point of Madaraka Day is like self-explanatory. It is a day when Kenya attained self-internal rule.
Yeah.
So it is a day that focuses on leadership, governance, unity, and nation building.
Yeah.
So the young people, in my opinion, should be having an avenue for mentorship. President William Ruto some time back talked about mentoring the young leaders.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that is the biggest mistake we can ever make, by throwing the young generation into leadership
without
mentorship. And I think the older generation, the millennials and wherever, should be now focused on mentorship.
Yeah.
Mentoring the Gen Z. Gen Z is a generation that was born, came about at a time of confusion, where technology and morality and information were all, at a high peak, and you have no idea where truths and lies are. You don't know what is good or wrong, what is right or wrong. So it is a generation that has the highest percentage of probability to destroy things.
Yeah.
That is why any kind of pressure on Gen Z will lead to them saying toxicity. If you give a Gen Z a lot of work, they will say this is a toxic working environment. If you tell a Gen Z to believe and trust the process, they will tell you you're wasting your time. They believe in shortcuts.
Yeah.
Okay? And so just throwing this kind of a person into leadership, they might end up destroying what Kenya has attained for the last 61 years or 60 years.
Yes.
So I think the young people should embrace mentorship. Allowed to be mentored. Allowed to respect the process.
Sasa hataki pia kuambiwa kitu.
That is the problem. President William Ruto did not come president out of nowhere. Huyu mtu alianza na kuuza kuku, akaenda YKK ya Moi, amekuwa na Kenyatta, amekuwa na Kibaki. He's been mentored. He's been around 4 presidents by the time he became the president. Okay? He's been with the most prominent opposition leader in Africa, Raila Amolo Odinga. Right honorable. Right honorable. This is a graduate of Moism and Railaism. So I'm telling you, you cannot be anything in terms of a leader unless you are mentored. So who is mentoring this generation? And I think the president should also include that in his speech. Mentorship, have mentorship centers. He talked about it when he was when he was accepting his speech, the acceptance speech when he became the president-elect, and he said he's going to mentor young leaders. And I think the Kina Salasia are being mentored, and the Kina, I've seen Salasia, yeah, I've seen them. I've seen Toto being mentored. Rigiji has been moved around us some time back. I've seen young people being embraced into leadership. The one who coined the Rigiji name, she was given a job. I've seen Salasia with Sudi and other leaders. You see, mentorship doesn't mean you go to school. You can have a degree and be the most foolish person on earth, by the way.
Yeah.
And if sometimes you can attend a meeting of learned people and you question the meaning of learned. And so I think mentorship is the whole point for young people. They should accept mentorship, and those who are older and experienced should give mentorship, in fact, to the young people, if possible, for free. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Reader. Thank you, Mr. Bushebi. On this note, we call it a wrap here on Special Report. Remember, our discussion will be going on till Friday, and Madaraka Day celebrations will be on Saturday, the 1st of June 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for always making time to put sense to all this that is happening and what is Madaraka Day and what Kenyans have to celebrate on Madaraka Day. My name is Mesh Msimbi. Enjoy the rest of your broadcast.